Hello and welcome to another video on the military sabre. This is going to be about a partnered drill to do with defensive work. If you're not familiar with the 6-cut attacking drill, the 6-cut cutting sequence, please go and look at that video again and learn to do it, because the attacker, in this case Esther, has to know the 6-cut cutting drill in order for me to be able to do a 6-cut defensive drill. So I'm going to assume you've watched that video and you know what you're talking about with that. Okay. So we both start at typical wide measure, so we can't hit each other without actually having to lunge. And Esther's going to start with cut 1, and I parry inside guard. She then recovers and cuts cut 2. I parry outside guard. She recovers, does cut 3. I parry inside half hanger. Recovers, cut 4, outside half hanger, recover, and cut 5. Inside guard, recover, cut 6, outside guard. Good. Now you can do this from a fixed footing position if you want and start much closer. It wouldn't really represent your typical fight scenario. One person should be lunging, but you can do that if you want to just simplify it just to blade work initially. But really, the attacker does need to be doing attack and, lunge and recovery, and then the defender can stay static for it. So the sequence there for the defender, starting outside guard, parry inside, outside, inside half hanger, outside half hanger, inside guard, outside guard. So if we now do the whole drill, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. So there's your basic drill. So inside, outside half hanger, outside half hanger, inside, outside. It's really quite simple. But we can then look at a few different options, because we don't always have to be using one specific parry to parry one particular cut. There are a few options. Some parries are better suited than others, but at the times in the fight you might not always have the option of using your best parry. You might just have to do what you can do in that particular moment, and you might also want the different options that certain parries give. So now we're going to look at another option where we all use low guards, inside and outside only, which just means we have to adjust our height slightly depending on the attack. So, cut 1, cut 2, cut 3, cut 4, cut 5, cut 6. There we go. And we're just using inside and outside and just adjusting our hilt as we go, keeping the tip fairly forward, nice diagonal lines of defense. And you're just using inside-outside guard. Now we can then do the same thing using just the hanging guard. Now Rowarth says you can use the hanging guard for basically everything. And it is really true. It has one weakness, and that's against cut 2. You can still make that parry using outside guard against cut 2. You just have to be a little bit careful. And you can see why now. If Esther does cut 2 slowly against me, and I use the hanging guard for it, you've got a much smaller margin of error to make that parry than, say, using outside guard. So you've got to be a little bit careful there, but it works fine. So we now do the defensive drill using only the hanging guard, and it's going to go from outside hanging guard in this sort of square box, really, which goes down to inside half hanger and outside half hanger. And it's a really nice simple system. So, cut 1, cut 2, cut 3, cut 4, cut 5, cut 6. And you should therefore be able to get into a pattern where it doesn't matter which of the cuts comes at you, you choose to use your low guards or your high guards and stick with it through all the different attacks that are coming in. And it's really important you get used to that pattern. Not so much get used to that pattern, but be able to break the pattern. Because if you're always having to use the same parry against the same cut, that can be used against you. And sometimes you just can't get from one posture to another. So there you go. That's your defensive cutting drill. Thanks for watching.